Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Jnanatimirandasya Jnananjana Salakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Shri Chaitanya Manobhistam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kada Mahyam Darati Swaparandikam. Vandeham Sri Guru Sri Yutapatakamalам Sri Gurun Vaishnavamscha Sri Rupam Sagrijatam Saganaragunatanvitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Parijana Saitam Sri Krishna Chaitanya Devam Sri Radha Krishna Padan Saganaralita Sri Visakanvitamscha He Krishna Karuna Sindho Dina Bando Jagatpate Gopesh Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute तप्त कांचन गौरंगी राधे वृंदावनेश्वरी वृषाभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये पंचाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्यैव च पतितानं पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः नमां विष्णुपदाय कृष्णप्रेष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदांत स्वामिनिति नामिने नमस्ते सरस्वते देवे गौरवाणि प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाश्चात्य ऋषिधारिणे जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैता गदाधर श्रीवासरि गौरभक्तवृंद हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे. Haribol, welcome to the reading session. Okay, Hayagriv Das says, he also believed, so we're continuing with how it is said, Plato, I think with Plato. He also believed that the time began with the creation of the material world. How does this relate to the Vedic version? Prabhupada, time is eternal. The past, present, and future are three features of time, but they are relative. Your past, present, and future are not the same as those of Brahma. Brahma lives for millions of years, and within this span, we may have many past, presents, and futures. These are relative according to the person, but time itself is eternal. Is that clear? Past, present, and future are relative according to the body, but time has no past, present, or future. So time itself has no past, present, and future, but the body in relation with the time has these things. So Plato says then, Plato considered material nature or prakriti to have always been existed in chaotic state. God takes matter and fashions it into form in order to create the universe. Prabhupada, more precisely, Krishna sets prakriti in motion and the products are manifesting automatically. A printer may set up a press in such a way that the magazines can be printed completely. The seeds or bijams are created by God in such a way that the creations are manifested automatically. The seeds are God's machines. He has created these seeds only. The seed of the entire universe is coming from him. Yasyaika kalam athavalambhya Brahma Samhita 548. When God breathes, millions of seeds of universes emanate from his body, and we call this creation. When God breathes, millions of seeds of universe emanate from his body, and we call this creation. When he inhales, they return, and we call this annihilation. Things are manifest or unmanifest depending on his breathing. When he exhales, everything is manifest. When he inhales, everything is finished. Only a fool thinks that God's breathing and all breathing are the same. Bhagavad Gita says, Avajananti mamuda manushim tanumashritam param bhavam ajananto mama bhuta maheshwaram. Fools deride me when I descend in the human form. They do not know my transcendental nature and my supreme dominion over all that be. 9:11 Bhagavad Gita. When Lord Brahma and Lord Indra were bewildered to see that this cowherd boy is God himself, even Lord Brahma and Lord Indra were bewildered. Shyamasundar Das. Plato's word for God is demiurge, which in Greek means master builder, architect, or handworker. In Sanskrit, this is called Srishtikarta, but this conception is secondary. Lord Brahma is Srishtikarta, and Brahma is inspired by Krishna. The original master, Krishna, is not Srishtikarta because he does not do anything indirectly. As stated in the Vedas, Svabhaviki Jnana Balakriya Cha, his potencies are multifarious, and thus his deeds are automatically performed as a natural sequence. Hmm. Yeah, nice verse. His potencies are multifarious, and thus his deeds are automatically performed as natural sequences. Shvetashvatara Upanishad 6.4, 6.8. As soon as he wants something done, it is actualized. Sa aikshata, sa ima lokanash asrjata. Aitareya Upanishad 1.1.1.2. This how Prabhupada remembers this. Where is this from? Aitareya Upanishad. I've never heard this Upanishad. When he glances at matter, creation takes place immediately. His energy is so perfect that simply by willing and glancing, everything is immediately and perfectly created. For instance, this flower is Krishna's energy. It requires a highly talented brain to color it and adjust it in such a way, but it is growing automatically. This is the way of Krishna's energy. This flower is a very small thing, but the entire cosmic manifestation is created on the same basis. Parasya Shaktir Vividaiva Shruyate. Krishna has multi energies, fine and subtle. As soon as Krishna thinks, this thing must come into being immediately. That thing is prepared by so many subtle energies. Krishna doesn't have to do anything with his hands. He simply desires something and it is created. Lord Brahma is supposed to be the direct creator of the universe, but there are millions of universes and millions of Brahmas. There are also millions of suns and other luminaries. There is no limit. And all this material creation is but the energy of Krishna. Shama Sundar Das. Plato conceives of God as the essence of perfection, the supreme ideal, and the supreme good. According to Parasara Muni, perfection belongs to him who has complete knowledge, wealth, beauty, power, fame, and renunciation. So what were the, God has everything in full and there is no vacancy in him. Chamasundar Das. Plato's philosophy points out to a personal conception, but there is no idea of what God looks like or what he says. Yeah, they are personalist without person. That's kind of funny. The Vedic literatures not only presents this person but describe him. Venum kvanantamaravinda dalayataksham barhavatam samasitam buddha sundarangam kandarpakoti kamaniya vishesa shobam govindamadi purusham tamaham bhajami. I worship Govinda, the primeval lord, who is adept in playing on his flute, whose blossoming eyes are like lotus petals, whose head is bedecked with a peacock's feather, whose figure of beauty is tinged with the hue of blue clouds, and whose unique loveliness charms millions of cupids. Brahma Samhita 530. In this way, Lord Krishna's form and activities are concretely described. In the Vedas, everything is factual. Plato thinks that the creator may be a person, but he does not know what kind of person he is, nor does he know of his engagements. Hayagriva. Later, in the Republic, in the allegory of the caveman mentioned before, Socrates states that in the world of knowledge, the last thing to be perceived and only with the great difficulty is the essential form of goodness. He considers this form to be the cause of everything. He considers this form to be the cause of whatever is right and good. He states that without having had a vision of this form, one cannot act with wisdom, neither in his own life nor in the matters of state. Here again, form is mentioned, but not personality. Prabhupada, that is contradictory. As soon as we understand that there are instructions from God, we must understand that there is form. Hmm. Yeah, because sometimes Mayavadis say that, yeah, there is personal form, but that personal form is impersonal. Yeah, but that Prabhupada says here that that is contradictory. If you talk about some form that cannot be impersonal, it doesn't make sense. As soon as we understand that that there are instructions from God, we must understand that there is form. And when we understand that there is form, we must understand that there is personality. In Bhagavad Gita, Krishna tells Arjuna, Natveha Natvevaham jatunasam natvam neme janadipa nachaivana bhavishyama sarvevayam ataparam. Never was there a time when I did not exist, nor you, nor all these kings, nor in the future shall any of us cease to be. 212 Bhagavad Gita. This means that in the past, present, and future, Krishna, Arjuna, and all other living entities exist as personalities and have form. There is no question of formlessness. Krishna never said that in the past we were formless and only in the present we have form. Rather, he condemns this impersonal version that says when God takes on form, that form is illusion, Maya. Hmm. Yeah. Today Nimanita Prabhu also was explaining this. That's that yeah, we can say that we are God, but we are God that only remembers this life. But God remembers everything. So that's one proof that we cannot really be God because Krishna remembers all the appearances and all the birds of everybody, and we just know these birds, parts of these birds. So how can we say we are God? Avyaktam vyaktim apannam manyante mam abuddhaya param bhavam ajananto mama vyayam anuttamam. Unintelligent man, who know me not, think that I have assumed this form and personality. Due to their small knowledge, they do not know my higher nature, which is changeless and supreme. Bhagavad Gita 7:24. In this way, the impersonalists who claim that God is ultimately formless are condemned as abuddhaya, unintelligent. When one maintains that God accepts a body composed of maya, he is called a mayavadi. Hmm. Shyamasundar Das. For Plato, God is the ideal of every object, the ideal representation of everything. The individual soul is therefore a tiny portion of this ideal. See, this Plato, he was really close to this real philosophy, but he didn't know Krishna, so he was too far away still. Srila Prabhupada. The material world is a perverted reflection of the spiritual world. For instance, in this material world, there is love, the sex urge. This is also present in the spiritual world, but it is present in its perfection. There is beauty and there is attraction between Krishna, a young boy, and Radharani, a young girl. But that attraction is perfection. In this world, the attraction is reflected in a perverted way. A young boy and a girl fall in love, become frustrated, and separated. Therefore, this is called perverted. Nonetheless, reality is there, and in reality, there is no separation. It is perfect. That love is so nice that it is increasing pleasure. Shwama Sundar Das. Plato called love in the material world lust or sensual love. There was also ideal Platonic love or intellectual love, but this one observes the soul. By this one observes the soul in a person and loves that soul, not the body. Prabhupada, yes, spiritual love is factual. It is stated in Bhagavad Gita, Vidya Vinaya Sampanne Brahmane Gavihastini Shuni Chaiva Svapake Cha Pandita Samadarshina. The humble sage, by virtue of true knowledge, sees with equal vision a learned and gentle Brahmana, a cow and an elephant, a dog and a dog-eater outcast. Bhagavad Gita 5:18. The learned person sees all these living entities with an equal vision because he does not see the outward covering. He sees the spirit soul within everyone. When we talk to a person, we do not talk to that person's dress, but to the person himself. Hmm. Yeah, this is a nice example. Similarly, those who are learned do not distinguish between outward bodies. The outward body has developed according to the karma of the living entity, but it is ephemeral. It is the soul that is real. So ephemeral means short-aged or short-lived. I agree with us. For Plato, perfection within the world of the senses can never be attained. Prabhupada, yes, that is correct. Everything material has some defect. In the Bhagavad Gita, Krishna tells Arjuna, Sahajam karma kaunteya sa dosham apinatyayed sarvaramba hi doshena tumena agnirivavrita. Every endeavor is covered by some sort of fault, just as fire is covered by smoke. Therefore, one should not give up the work which is born of his nature, O son of Kunti, even if such work is full of fault. Hmm. If we execute our prescribed duties according to the Shastra, we can still attain perfection even though there are some defects. Through Krishna consciousness, everyone can become perfect regardless of his situation. A Brahmana may give knowledge, a Kshatriya may give protection, a Vaishya may provide food, and a Shudra may provide general help for everyone. Although they may be imperfections in the execution of our duty, perfection can be attained by following the injunctions. Haribol. Okay, who wants to continue?
My Prabhu, I think, wants to continue. Not, I can.
Yes, Prabhu, you can continue.
Okay. Thank you so much, Prabhu.
Yes, Prabhu.
Shyamasundara Das. Plato perceives man's soul in a in, marginal intermediate position between two worlds. The soul belongs to the ideal world, but he has taken on a material body. Srila Prabhupada. Yes, we agree that the conditioned soul is marginal energy. He can have a spiritual body or a material body, but until he is trained in acquiring a spiritual body, will he will have to have a material body. However, when he engages in devotion service, in devotion service, his so-called material body is transformed into a spiritual body. For instance, if you put an iron rod into fire, it becomes red hot, and when it is red hot, it is no longer iron but fire. Similarly, when you are fully Krishna consciousness, your body is no longer material but spiritual. I agree with us. Plato believed that God put intelligence in the soul and the soul is in the body in order that he might be the creator of a work which is by nature best. Srila Prabhupada. We say that the living entity is part and parcel of the God. Mamai Vamsho Jiva Loke Jiva Bhuta Sanatanaha. The living entity in this conditioned world or my eternal fragmental parts. Bhagavad Gita 15.7. The living entity almost has all the qualities of good, but but he has them in minute quantity. We have create large aeroplanes and take some credit, but we cannot create a fairy ball like the sun and have it float in space. That is the difference between God and us. By God's power, millions and millions of plants are floating in space. We may manufacture some things out of the material given by God, but we cannot create these materials. For instance, it is not possible to manufacture gold, although gold has created so many gold mines. Shyamsundar Das. Plato reasoned that the soul, being eternal, must have existed previously in the ideal world, where it learned about internal principles, because we can recollect the internal idea quite easily. They are latent or dominant within us. Srila Prabhupada, the soul is eternally spiritual, and therefore all goodness resides in it. But due to contact with matter, the soul becomes conditioned. When the soul engages in his original work by rendering service to Krishna, he immediately attains all spiritual qualities. Shyamasundara Das. For Plato, the long true. I experienced that, like Prabhupada saying that when the soul engages in the spiritual original work by rendering service to Krishna, he immediately attains all spiritual qualities. Not like that, but I experienced that when I will go to Pondicherry temple, then I will do some seva and uh, like it was very nice.
Haribo. Yes, Prabhu. Yeah, this is the way.
Like it will it will give all the spiritual. Only we think only spiritual, and we have good association. So it will full in temple full of spiritual. I experienced that.
Yes, Prabhu.
But when I come to back, when I come to back to home, then again from association from matter, again contaminated.
Yes, Prabhu. Yeah, that's true. That happened.
Shyamasundar Das. For Plato, the longing for immortality is inborn. Man is yearning to realize this perfection. Srila Prabhupada, yes, we deserve to live eternally because we are in fact eternal. The living entity does not changing material bodies, birth and death, or botheration. He is afraid of taking birth, and he is afraid of dying, but he does not know how to get rid of this botheration. What is botheration, Prabhu? Botheration.
Something that is
Hmm.
something that is bothering or something that is annoying, kinda.
Okay. Botheration. However, according to Bhagavad Gita 4.9, as soon as we understand Krishna, we immediately transcend this transmigration. I agree with Das. Planto perceives that every object in the universe is made with some purpose, and its ideal goal is to move toward the ideal it which its archetype or essence resides. According to the Vedic version, Krishna is the all-attractive object of the universe. Therefore, all things must be moving toward him. How is it that the individual soul apparently turns from Krishna to participate in the world of birth and death? Srila Prabhupada. That is due to Maya, illusion. He should not have deviated, but due to the influence of Maya, he is deviating and consequently suffering. Therefore, Krishna says, Sarvadharman Parityajya Mam Ekam Sharanam Vraja. Bhagavad Gita 8.66. Stop this material plan making, surrender unto me, and do what I say. Then you will be happy. This is very practical. According to Bhagavad Gita, the living entity are non forgetful of their relationship with God. They have taken on these material bodies because they have a desire to imitate God. They cannot be God, but simply imitations. A woman may dress like a man, but she cannot become a man despite her dress. The living entity, being part and partial of God, may believe that he is just like God, the supreme enjoyer, and he may think I I shall enjoy myself. However, because he is not the actual enjoyer, he is given a false platform from enjoying. That platform is the material world. On this false platform, the individual soul experiences frustration. Experience frustration. It cannot be said that this frustration is one step forward, one step forward towards his real life. If one is actually intelligent, he thinks, "Why am I? Why am I being frustrated? What is real perfection?" This is the beginning of the Vedanta Sutra. Atato Brahma Jignasa. When he becomes frustrated with the material world, the living entity asks, "Why is Brahman? What is Brahman?" For instance, Sanatana Goswami was a finance minister, but when he became frustrated, he approached Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Our real life begins when we become frustrated with material existence and approach a real future master. If we do not do this, we will certainly be frustrated in whatever we attempt, um, attempt in this material world. This Srimad Bhagavatam says, uh, "Parabhavastva tvada abodha jato yavana jigna jignasta sata atma tattvam yat yavat kriyas tva tad idam mano vahi कर्मत कर्मत्मकं येन शरीर bandha. As long one does not inquire about the spiritual values of life, one is defected and defeated and subjected to miseries as arising from ignorance. Be it sinful or pious, karma has its resultant actions. If a person is engaged in any kind of karma, his mind is called karmatmaka, colored with fruitive activity. As long as the mind is impure, consciousness is unclear, and as long as one is absorbed in fruitive activity, he has to accept a material body. Bhagavatam 5.5.5. In ignorance, the living entity tries to approach the ideal life, but he is ultimately defeated. What is ideal life, Prabhu? Like ideal.
Yes, Prabhu, it's like optimal. It's like good life, like really optimal and like
Okay, 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 okay. Oh, okay. Hmm.
oh, this some
What
nonsense.
matters? I understand, Prabhu. I understand.
Yes, Prabhu.
You still okay. Ideal life, but he defeated. He unlimitedly defeated. He must come to the point of understanding himself. When he understands what he is, he knows, "I am not matter, I am spirit." When he understands this, he begins to make spiritual inquiries, and by this he can again return home back to Godhead. Shamasundara Dasa Plato believes that we must mold our lives in such a way as to attain perfection. Srila Prabhupada, that is Krishna consciousness, the devotion service. We are the eternal servants of God, of Krishna. And as long as we are in the material world, we should be trying to serve God. Uh, as soon as our apprenticeship apprent- apprenticeship is completed, we are promoted to the spiritual world to render the same service. In fact, we are chanting here. And in the spiritual world, we will also be chanting. We are serving here, and there will also be serving. However, here we experience a probational apprenticeship. There, that the service is factual. But even though this is an apprenticeship, because devotion service is absolute, it is not different from the real world. Therefore, if one engages in devotion service, he is already liberated. His very activities and liberated. They are not all. They are not at all material. One who does not know anything about devotion service thinks, "Oh, what are they doing? Why are they chanting? Anyone can chant. He, who is this spiritual?" Uh, People do not know that the names of Krishna are as good as Krishna. They are absolute. Shyama Das. Socrates maintained that one must become perfectly good, but he gives no clear idea of just how this is done. Srila Prabhupada, being perfectly good means acting for the perfectly good Krishna. In Krishna consciousness, we are given an actual occupation by which we can become perfectly good. That the activities of the person in Krishna consciousness appear to be perfectly good, even to a materialistic person. Anyone can appreciate that good character and qualification of devotees. Yasya, yasyasti bhaktir bhagavate Ankinchana Bhagavatam 5.18.12. If one has developed Krishna consciousness, he will manifest all the good qualities of the devotion, so all the good qualities of the demigods. This is just to tell how we are advancing toward perfection. This quality we will visible even in this material world. This is not simply a question of the ideal, the inaccessible. This can be factually experienced, and the devotee does not want anything other than engagement in Krishna consciousness. He doesn't want material sense gratification at all. That is perfection.
Haribo.
Haribo,
Okay,
who
thank you
wants
so
to
much,
continue? Okay,
Prabhu.
we can go.
Yes, Prabhu. Now we can read six Astakam prayers.
Mm,
चेतो
Thank you so much for the.
दर्पणमार्जनं भवमहादावाग्निर्वापनं श्रेयः कैरवचन्द्रिका वितरणं विद्यावादुजीवनम् अनन्तं बुद्धिवर्धनं प्रतिपदं पूर्णामृतस्वादनं सर्वात्मा स्नपनं परं विजयते श्रीकृष्णसङ्कीर्तनम्
नाम्नामकारी बहुधानि सर्वशक्तिर्सत्कारपिता नियमिता स्मरणेन कालाये तादृशी तव कृपा भगवन् ममापि दुर्दैवमीदृशं महेजनीननुग्रहा
तृणादपि सुनीचेन तरोरपि सहिष्णुना अमानिना मानदेन कीर्तनीया सदा हरि
न जनम न सुंदरं कविताम्बा जगदीशकामये मम जन्मनि जन्मनीश्वरे भगवद्भक्तिरहितुकी त्वयि
अयिनन्दतनुजा किङ्करं पतितं मां विषमे भवाम्बुधौ कृपया तव पादपङ्कजा स्थितधूलिसदृशं विचिन्तय
नयनं गलदाशुधराय वदनं गद्गदहृदया गिरा पुलकैर्निचिन्तं वपु कदा तव नाम ग्रहणे भविष्यति
युगायितं निमेषेण चक्षुषा प्रविश्यायितं शून्यायितं जगत्सर्वं गोविन्दविरहेण मे
आस्पृशवापदारतं पुनश्च मां प्रदर्शनान्मर्महतं करोतु वा यथा तथा वा विददातु लम्पटो मत्प्राणनथस्तु एव न प्रहा
Haribo, Lord, into
Lord.
the Sri Krishna Sankirtan, which cleanses the heart of all the dust accumulated for years and extinguishes the fire of conditional life of repeated birth and death. This Sankirtan movement is the prime benediction for humanity at large because it spreads the rays of the benediction moon. It is the life of all transcendental knowledge. It increases the ocean of transcendental bliss and it enables us to fully taste the nectar for which we are always anxious.
O my Lord, your holy name alone can render all benediction to living beings, and those you have hundreds and millions of names like Krishna and Govinda. In these transcendental names, you have invested all your transcendental energy. Uh, these are not even hard and fast rules for chanting these names. O my Lord, out of kindness, you enable us to easily approach you by your holy names. But I am so unfortunate that I have no attraction for them.
One should chant the holy name of the Lord in a humble state of mind, thinking oneself lower than the straw in the street. One should be more tolerant than a tree, devoid of all sense of false prestige, and should be ready to offer all respect to others. In such a state of mind, one can chant the holy name of the Lord constantly.
O Almighty Lord, I have no desire to accumulate wealth, nor do I desire beautiful women, nor do I want any number of followers. I only want your causeless devotion service birth after birth.
O son of Maharaj Nanda, Krishna, I am your eternal servitor, yet somehow or other I have fallen into the ocean of birth and death. Please pick me up from this ocean of death and place me as one of the atoms at your lotus feet.
O my Lord, when will my eyes be decorated with tears of love flowing constantly when I chant your holy name? When will my voice choke up and when will the hairs of my body stand on end at the recitation of your name?
O Govinda, feeling your separations, I'm considering a moment to be like 12 years or more. Tears are flowing from my eyes like torrents of rain, and I'm feeling all vacant in the world in your absence.
Oh Govinda, feeling your separations, I am
No, wait one.
sorry. I know no one but Krishna has my Lord, and he shall remain so even if and he handles me roughly by his embrace or makes me broken-hearted by not being present before me. He is completely free to do anything and everything, for he is always my worshipful Lord unconditionally.
Haribo,
Ribu.
Sri Siksastakam ki jai.
Jai.
10 offenses to the holy name. First offense, to blaspheme the devotees who had dedicated their lives for propagating the holy name of the Lord.
Second offense, to consider the names of the demigods like Lord Shiva or Lord Brahma to be equal to or independent of the name of Lord Vishnu.
Third offense, to disobey the orders of the spiritual master.
Fourth offense, to blaspheme the Vedic scriptures or scriptures in pursuance to Vedic version.
Fifth offense, to consider the glories of chanting Hare Krishna to be an imagination.
Sixth offense, to give some interpretation to the holy name of the Lord.
Seventh offense, to commit sinful activities on the strength of the holy name.
Eighth offense, to consider the chanting of Hare Krishna as one of the auspicious ritualistic activities which are offered in the Vedas as spiritual activities, karma kanda.
Ninth offense, to instruct the faithless person about the glories of the holy name.
Tenth offense, to not have complete faith in the chanting of the holy name and to maintain material attachments even after understanding so many instructions on this matter. It is also an offense to be inattentive while chanting. Every devotee who claims to be a Vaishnava must guard against this offense in order to quickly achieve the desired success. Krishna Prema.
Haribo,
Haribo.
Panchakalpatarubhyascha
पाञ्चाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च
कृपा
कृपा
सिन्धुभ्येव च
सिन्धुभ्यश्च
पतितानां
पतितानां
पावनेभ्यो
पावनेभ्यो
वैष्णवेभ्यो
वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः।
पंचतत्व की जय नित्यानंद
जय
प्रभु की जय श्री कृष्ण
जय
चैतन्य महाप्रभु की जय श्री
जय
प्रभुपद की जय निताय गौर
जय
प्रेमानंदे हरि हरि
हरि
बोल
हरि बोल।